Hi class, you have just watched some videos about the circular economy and done some reading about it, and now we're going to try and apply some of those ideas to Ventura County in a brainstormy, creative, imagination kind of way. So here's the CalRecycle website, official website of the state of California, and here they list all the different waste streams from both commercial and residential buildings or places. And you can put in the county, which is right here. You can do that. And then you search and you get all these different kinds of waste are listed by tonnage. So you can see, for example, in San Luis Obispo County, uncoated corrugated cardboard, single families produce 843 tons of that per year. And multifamilies produce another 526 tons. So the total of uncoated corrugated cardboard produced in the county is 1,300 tons per year, which is 2% of the total waste stream, which is a pretty high percentage. So that's how you get it for the, and then of course there's different categories. There's paper categories, glass, metal, plastics, other organic inerts, and hazardous and special. So a whole bunch of different types of waste, and you can find out all about them by county. That's the residential waste stream. Now for the commercial waste stream, let's say that the waste stream I'm assigned is uncoated corrugated cardboard. So I've got the information on residential. Now let's look at commercial. Commercial is set up a little bit differently. So what you do here is you go to the material type, and then you look for the uncoated corrugated cardboard right there, and search it, and then it will tell you, it tells you by type of business how much each business produces. But then if you go down to the very bottom, the total for all business groups for uncoated corrugated cardboard is quite a bit, 20,000 tons per year. So that tells me that if that's the waste stream that I'm trying to limit, I should really focus on commercial waste streams, probably. So with the information from CalRecycle website and your imagination, you're going to create two slides. The first slide will have you brainstorm about ways to use that waste stream to get it back into the economy. The second slide will ask you to figure out ways to reduce that waste stream in the first place. This is what the first slide looks like. I made a template. You can make a copy of the template, or you can go into our slide bank where these will rest and duplicate the template there as well. But basically, this is what I would like you to do. Think about, well, first of all, your number, the number of the waste item from the list that I have, and mine was number 38 on my list, which was clean dimensional lumber. So I'm going to put that there. Also, back on the CalRecycle website, you can get a short description of the material. So I took my short description, I shortened it a little bit more, and I put a short description in here of clean dimensional lumber. Then I also got from the CalRecycle website the residential tons produced. I put it in here, and the commercial tons produced. And then I start to imagine what would be some way we could use that waste stream again, reuse it. And so I'm thinking of needs here. What's a need of the county? And I'll show you what I came up with. And then how can I use that lumber to fulfill that need? And what I noticed when watching the videos that you just watched is usually when there's a good circular economy business going, they've done something different from before. They either have something new, a new technological invention like that brick clamp that was able to use all different kinds of bricks, or a new machine to take the water out of the food waste, or a new way to build solar panels so that they can be taken apart. That's the out-of-the-box idea that makes this work. So think of the need that this waste stream can or maybe can fill. Again, imagination, dream. The technology doesn't even have to exist yet, but just think about what it could do, and then what you would need, or if there is something that already exists, what you could use there to make that happen. Put that in that box. Then in this box, what other resources would you need to make this happen, this idea, this circular business? Don't forget to make up a name for your company. And then finally, this plus this plus this plus this equals this. What is the waste transformed into or used for? And then a description of it. So whatever the waste stream item is that you get, think about these and fill them all out. I'll show you how mine ended up. So I ended up with, as I said, dimensional lumber. What that is it's either unpainted new or demolition lumber. It's 2x4s, 2x6s, 2x12s from framing. It might have some nails or contaminants. This is the weight of tons from residential and commercial. So it turns out residential produces more clean dimensional lumber from the waste stream than commercial. So I focused on residential dimensional lumber. And what was my need? My need that I thought of was bringing back woodshop class to schools. It was something that apparently disappeared from schools around 2010 or so. And I think it fulfills a need, which I'll explain later, but I'd like to bring that back to schools. So my idea, my out-of-the-box idea, is to have a traveling shop van that goes to schools or scout trips, and everyone can learn woodworking. And the AI tool, the other out-of-the-box idea or technology, would be an AI tool that looks at all the waste lumber that I happen to have in the warehouse and calculates, how much of each type I have, and given that and given the skill level of who I'm teaching, just spits out plans for possible projects. If I have a lot of 2x4s, what would be some great projects for high school kids? What would be some great projects for, middle school kids or whatever? And so those are my two ideas, my out-of-the-box technology innovation ideas. What else would I need to have to make this work? And again, trying to think in terms of circular economy, well, the wood has to be finished often, and I would have to look for some organic wood finishes or dyes. Maybe I can even make them from some other part of the waste stream, food scraps or something. And I also need a place to store the lumber until it's used. And all that put together will get me school woodshop projects or school woodshop classes. And here I describe it a little bit more, my idea, and why. Working with your hands builds confidence. It builds a sense of, I can repair this. I don't have to throw things away. It is a skill for sure, a marketable skill. And I found out even that in 2022, a legislature, Mike Gibson, talked about bringing back woodshop to California schools. So in this description, I have a couple links. I didn't go deep into these ideas. The focus of this assignment is more to brainstorm and come up with creative ideas. You don't have to go deep researching things, but I quickly found a couple things that are very related to my idea and actually encouraged me to think more about it. And I also found a cool furniture, basically looks like it's made out of 2x4s. And that looks like a sturdy piece of furniture. So then I had a third idea that maybe these students, the high school students or whoever, could make this kind of furniture to help furnish low-income housing. Then I put my name. I gave myself a company name, Woodwork on Wheels, and that's my idea. My idea of how to capture something from the Ventura County waste stream. Now, what's the second slide that you have to do is you go beyond that. Remember, circular economy isn't just recycling everything. It's creating an economy that doesn't create as much waste in the first place. So again, I put my waste item in here. And then I think of ways to reduce the waste stream. Now, how many? At least two. Think of at least two. In the end, I found a few ideas, but they're fairly similar. Okay, focusing on houses, because remember, for my waste stream, dimensional lumber, there's more coming from houses than commercial. So focusing on houses, how can I reduce the waste stream? It turns out there are modular houses which can be disassembled. first of all, they can be built, but then the question was, can they be disassembled so that they don't get demolished into clean dimensional lumber? And I found a YouTube video, Modular Building Dismantle Process. I found an article, another way to reduce the waste stream is to carefully demolish the house. And I found out how Restore Seattle will carefully demolish the house, saving as much of the materials as possible. Another possibility is to build a house without too much dimensional lumber in the first place. One idea is the straw bale house, which does have some lumber in the structure, but not necessarily all. And this primer talks about a couple different ways to build a straw bale house. One has more wood in it than the other, or even another material like reclaimed brick. So these were all just ideas. I was kind of brainstorming in my head. I checked pretty quickly on the internet to see if any of this stuff actually existed already. If it doesn't exist, that's okay too. Just explain the idea a little bit. I put my name, and that's it. So I've actually had a great time trying to figure out what to do with the dimensional lumber waste stream. And it's been mostly about brainstorming, a little bit about checking on the internet, and I end up with these 2 slides. So in order to assign you a waste stream, a specific waste stream, I made a list. I left off the hazardous and electronic waste, but I kept in all the others. And then I used a random number generator to assign everybody a waste stream. So what you want to do now is, after this video, watch the next video, which is the random generator video. You'll find out what your number is. And remember, even if your name comes up early in the video, watch the video to the end, because there's an exciting twist at the end. So you have to watch the video to the end. But once you have your number, check what waste stream your number goes with and have at it with the 2 slides.